Hi there, and welcome to Security Skills. In this video, we're going to show you the ins and outs of searching procedures whilst working in the security industry. I'm Carl Randall, and this is Anthony Milner. Anthony has over 20 years of experience in the security industry and is an active security instructor. He's here to guide us through everything you need to know about searching, both for your security training course, but more importantly, for when you're actually working in the security industry. So, Anthony, searching. Why is it so important?
Carl, it's very important that the professionals working in our industry search correctly for obviously the reasons such as stopping things coming into the venue, which is for safety reasons, as well as potentially stopping theft and items making out of a venue as well.
Nice. And there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. What are the risks of someone searching incorrectly?
Number one, obviously there's safety concerns. Number two, there's legal concerns as well. For example, if I touch you without getting permission to touch you, I don't have any right to do so. Even if you work inside the building and you're a staff search, I still need to get permission from you in order to touch you to carry out that search. Failure to do so could end up with legal trouble for us and our company that we represent as well. And of course, from the other side, searching people coming in, if I don't search correctly, I'm going to miss items. That could be anything from illicit substances, narcotics, drugs, that kind of thing, to contraband, not as important, it's just items not allowed in the venue, to more serious items such as weapons that could be used against us or members of the public or our colleagues inside the venue.
All right, so there's a whole host of risks and obviously legalities that security professionals need to be aware of. I think the best thing we need to do now is to actually go through how to search properly.
Excellent, yeah, let's do it. I'll show you a couple of techniques.
So, searching. As you can see, Anthony has got a search wand. Anthony, talk us through the search wand.
Yeah, sure. So search wand is designed really for one thing, and that's metallic objects. So the normal search wand you may have, you may not have, it depends on the risk assessment, where you're working, and whether it's been deemed as reasonable or necessary to use a search wand as part of a search. It might be as part of the search, or it might be the entire search is just using the search wand, which again would be searching purely for weapons and nothing else. Search wand, basic, got a power button, you've got a sensitivity button. We generally switch both of those on, so we switch power on, switch sensitivity up. And there's two ways it can work. It can either work in a more stealth mode, where instead of it making a beep that everyone can hear, it just turns to a vibrate. Or we can switch it into the normal beeping noise. As you can see, if I move it over my belt, it makes a very clear sound because it's picking up the metal. If I move it to vibrate, you're not gonna hear anything, but I can feel it when I'm searching. So that then doesn't let the person know that you're searching, that you've actually found an object or you've located something metallic.
All right, let's run through a quick demonstration.
Sure. Okay, so when searching somebody, what first thing you would want to do is obviously, as usual, get their permission. Once you've got their permission, what you then want to do is get them to maybe remove any outer layers of clothing. You want them to do that. And you also want them to then take anything out of their pockets. Once they've done that, we would then ask them if there's anything else I need to know about. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I do that. One of them could be there's something sharp in there that could harm me or any of my colleagues. And if I didn't ask, then they could argue that I never asked them. And the other reason is they may have had some kind of medical injury, something like that. If I'm putting my hands on them at any point during the search, it would be important to know if they've just had surgery and they've got stitches in or something like that. So we're just covering all bases there. Okay, so we've got permission. Emptied pockets, taken off the outer clothing, and asked if there's anything else we need to know about, and then we'll conduct the search. Now, if we're using the wand, we're simply going to get you to step forward slightly, and I'm just going to run the wand over anywhere which is covered. We don't need to run it over his arms because there's obviously nothing there. So we're running it around, and I've got it set to vibrate, so if I switch it to noise, it makes it more easy for you. You're expecting that, and if you could just lift your shirt up there and show us, you've got a belt there, so the expectation was it was a belt, and it was. We're also going to run it down the sides, all the way down to the bottom, all the way up, down again, round the ankles, and back, around the top, and if you turn around for me, I'm going to run around the back as well, and again, around the pockets. We're picking up the microphone there, and that's why it's making that noise as well. So anything unexpected, we would then ask for him to remove from the pocket. unless we believe this is a weapon, in which case we may have to use another technique, which is probably beyond the scope of this course to go into, where we need to take control of him if we thought we were in danger at any stage. One other thing just to note is in this example, you can see I'm on my own carrying out the search on Carl. Reality is we would never do that. From a risk assessment point of view, I'm always at risk. When I'm searching somebody, I'm very close to them. My hands are near them, but their hands are near me as well. So we need to be sure that we have backup, somebody standing by and who may understand some kind of code or signal I can give them if I feel that we're in danger as well.
Okay, brilliant. So we've gone through searching with a wand, but what about if someone doesn't have a wand?
Same things as before. We need permission. We need to ask the customer, generally speaking, to take off outer clothing. Something else that's also important is we don't want anyone to take that away. So we want that outer jacket in front of him at all times, so he can't say we've taken something out or put something in that jacket. So again, his stress level might go up if we take anything away. If you empty your pockets for me again. Okay, once again, I have some backup watching me. I'm going to carry out the search. Now, in this case, he's got short sleeves, so there's no need for me to physically put my hands anywhere on his body, but something that's important that does get missed is hands themselves. Somebody who's done this a lot and brought items into venues might have a little bit more confidence, and they might actually have something hidden in their hand. So it's also important to just ask them to show you their hands so that there's obviously nothing in there, because you can miss it when you're focused all over here. Okay, now the search itself, there is a danger because I'm going to get in pretty close. I don't ever want to come square on because of the risk of physical assault to me. So I always want to come on slightly sideways. We want to ask them to put their arms up, but understand that this is called a stress position. So when we do this, he's actually feeling the stress in his shoulders at the moment. So we just want to be mindful of that, and we can get him to drop the arms down to about 45 degrees, and that reduces the stress on his shoulders. Okay, and then what we want to do really is we want to carry out a search. So there's a number of different ways of doing this. I'm going to show you a very basic, fast search that is done when you've got a lot of people in the queue and you want to get them through the door quickly. So we're searching for like sort of large, gross size objects that are easy to pick up. Okay, so we're going to start at the top, coming in from the side, and I'm going to come around the back. Now, if he had a hoodie on, I'm going to work around the hoodie as well to see if he's got anything inside that hood. If not, I'm going to work a way around there. If he's got a collar on, I'm going to work my way around the collar. Okay, once I've got around the collar, I'm going to come under the armpit, make sure I'm right up under the armpit, and I come down. And again, if he had long sleeves, I'm going to work my way all the way down. Now, the reason I'm working my way all the way down is because everything that's hidden inside there has a tendency to then fall out if he's got long sleeves on. If I'm working my way up, one, it's going to push his sleeve up, which is not ideal, but two, it's going to also maybe push any object up. We want to use the natural feel of the contour of his arms, because if I'm doing this, I can easily, as you can see, I'm missing areas where by luck I could just miss some object that's there. So that's quite important. When I'm coming around to the other side, I'm simply going to move across to the other side, same situation, work my way down the arm, same exact situation as before. Coming around to the back. Now this is something you might see a lot. There is a danger doing this, coming right up, down and around, but it is fairly efficient. All depends on a risk assessment whether you want to do that. Another option to search the back would be to get him to turn around. So instead of me coming in close like that, which could be very dangerous, I could ask him to turn around. Wherever we're searching intimate areas, we always want to use the back of our hands. So coming around the front, come down and around the belt area, and then if I'm going to do a slightly more intimate search, I might go around his belt, or I might ask him to go around his belt, because that's again where people are likely to be hiding things. When it comes to the lower half of the body, I'll do the sort of top half because I'm very aware of what the camera can see, but we'll do the top half. So essentially, when I'm coming down a search, again, I want to try and be in a safe position here. We're also trying to fit it in for the camera, but essentially we want to work our way down, right up, down. As you can see, what I've done is I've kind of quartered the legs, so I've come down here and down there, and I'll do the same on that side. So the same exercise again, down, down, and then from the second half of the leg, I'm going to ruffle my way down to his ankle. So I essentially am going to ruffle all the way down to the ankle. Again, it depends where you work as far as how much in depth you're going to go with shoes on, shoes off, that kind of thing. It really depends. Most venues that you're working in, nightclub industry, you're not going to be doing that. You're going to go down to the ankles. You might ask them to lift the trousers up just to see, but that's pretty much as far as you're going to go with that. One other thing to mention is the fact that you are also potentially going to be wearing PPE. So we're going to protect ourselves with gloves on. We might have search gloves on, which are like Kevlar based, stops from needles and sharps. Or we might just have sort of surgical gloves, which are to protect us against disease and that kind of thing as well. As an alternative to putting yourself in a slightly dangerous or intimate position of being really close to him to search his back, instead, we get him to turn around. One of the reasons why I myself wouldn't walk there is because if I've got my backup is positioned exactly where I need to be able to see him or her, and they need to be able to see me. So if I reposition myself, it's kind of going to mess around with our cover situation. So instead of that, we're going to ask Carl to turn around. So if Carl, you turn around, and then I can carry out a search on his back. Now, bear in mind, there's a couple of problems with this as well. One being that he may feel a bit vulnerable in this position because I'm now behind him and he doesn't know me and he's going to think maybe I'm going to do something. So just be mindful of that as well. One other thing to mention is just customer service. If this guy's a customer coming into our venue, while you're carrying out the search, you just want to be chit-chatting, how you doing, blah, 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 kind of building a bit of rapport with him. Anyway, for a rear search, again, we just want to focus on the areas where we think he may have stuff. So again, up here, down the back, round there, down the back, round here, and then up. And again, you've done the underarms already. So you're just trying to make sure that there's nothing there. And we would have checked around the belt. And again, back pockets, use back of your hand in order to make sure there's nothing inside the back pockets. Now, it's never perfect. You're never going to get everything. The only way to stop drugs, for example, coming into a venue is to have search dogs. You're not really going to find drugs in somebody who's been doing this for a long time. They know how to get them in a position where you're not going to be able to find them.
All right, well, thank you very much for that. So you mentioned briefly that the best way to stop drugs coming into a venue is the use of search dogs. But there are things that you can look out for. So what would you say the most common areas people try and hide drugs are?
Well, yeah, sure. Some of the common areas to look for: collars, hoodies, where the drawstring is. They might use little straws inside there. Difficult to feel sometimes, but just run your finger around there. Belt line, also very important, and ankles. Make sure you check the ankles. Pull the trousers up if they're wearing trousers. Just get really in there to feel anything that's been jammed down there. So those are your kind of key places that you can look. There are obviously places that we can't look, but those are the places that you should spend some time on.
Brilliant. So we've covered the searching process, the legalities of searching, but to summarize, what are the main things that security professionals need to be aware of when searching?
Well, first thing, as I said at the beginning, is safety. Make sure you're safe, your colleagues are safe. Have backup, search on the camera, and also try and build a bit of rapport with your customer. Some of this might be also profiling to make sure that you're happy for them to come into the venue. So we want to see, or they seem intoxicated or anything like that. Are they behaving themselves well, and do we want them to come in? So those are kind of the key aspects. Always get permission, as I said as well.
And of course, usually try and search male on male, female on female.
Absolutely, yes. So where we're carrying out searches, it's normally same-sex searches is preferred. There are times and places where that isn't always the case, but of course, we've always got to get permission to carry out the search anyway.
Well, thank you very much, Anthony. We've covered absolutely everything there is really with searching. So this is going to be part of a little mini series. So whatever you do, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell because we're going to have more security skills videos coming your way.